World Bank is trying to share a successful story, not a story, a successful initiative about how Mexicans have have transformed financially, have been transforming financially, and they illustrated this with a very simple story, a very good story, which goes like this. There is a driver, a private driver called Adrian. He lives in a rural area outskirts of the Mexico City. So one day what happens is he just moves into a convenience store, just like a 7-Eleven store, to buy a cold drink, and he's offered to open an account and to be given a card. Now he thinks that it's costing maximum $2 and with a little bit of details that he gives, he will get a card. So he just opts for it, and within some few minutes he gets a card and his bank account is open. Now what does Adrian do? In a few days' time, he uses that account to link it to the mobile app, which is on his mobile phone. He gets to automatically deposit his salary to this account. He starts paying for his food, for his petrols through the mobile app. He also starts transferring the money to his wife because he made her also buy one of those cards and use that account so that they both can easily transfer money while he is on the road, and eventually it made his life much more easier. So this is not just about Adrian, but there are almost many of people like Adrian, almost 42% of Mexicans who have got these accounts created within the span of 3 years. And that's what this World Bank was sharing, that they have been moving from being financially excluded to financially included. Good evening, President, Toastmasters of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guest. I'm sharing the story about financial inclusion. This topic, which is quite dear to me, and I believe a lot in this. So the next 4 to 5 minutes, I'm going to share a bit more overview about financial inclusion. I will tell you why it is important. I will also tell challenges and what are the current things that are being done. So let me start by asking you a very straightforward question. How many of you guys have a bank account? No surprise, right? Everybody has. When I came to Singapore, I also opened an account, first thing which I did. Now, I mean, everybody uses banking services for different purposes. Somebody might be using for investment, somebody might be borrowing money, somebody might just save money, right? Now, I want you to just reflect back and just imagine that if you didn't have these banking services or didn't have this access to the bank, how would your journey to success and growth would be? I'm sure it will definitely be a bit more troublesome, not so convenient, and you might have missed some opportunities that came along the way, because that really is the point here. Now, if I tell you that there are many of them who don't have access to bank, would you believe that? Will you agree to that? Do you know how many? Any guesses? I have some stats which I have got. 2 billion people, which is almost half the adult population in the world, do not have access to the formal banking system. Well, that's overall global figure. In Southeast Asia, closer to us, only 27% of population have bank accounts. That means almost 530 million don't have bank accounts. And if you consider some poorer countries like Cambodia, only 5% of them have accounts. So that means that this group of population cannot save, borrow, and they face the risk of financial risk. The fundamentals of economic empowerment is denied, and that creates a barrier for coming out of poverty. So including this group of people into this financial system, making financial services affordable to them, is the objective of and the sole purpose of financial inclusion. Okay, so But okay, financial inclusion, I'm saying that it's very important, but why financial inclusion? Why not other things like healthcare inclusion, education inclusion? Because those are also quite important, right? Now what it is pursued is that financial inclusion is a very good starting point for growth and reducing poverty. When an individual participates in the financial system, he or she starts business or expands business, they spend their children's education and healthcare and take care of that. It's not just about individuals' development. Financial inclusion is also linked to the country's overall economic development as well. So when you see that within ASEAN region, if we reach the unbanked population in ASEAN, this would increase the economic contribution of the region, which is currently standing at 17 billion to 52 billion by 2030. So if you see, there's a very big opportunity here, just because of the size of the population and the pie which is here. So overall, financial inclusion fuels the investment, generates jobs and growth. So that's why it's a very good starting point. And generally it is felt that people who are not included, they start with basic services and then they start using more advanced services. So it is one of the very good enabler, and a lot of organizations and government bodies are getting into this idea and doing a lot of things. Now, which brings me to the third point about what are the challenges and what are the current initiatives being done. The major challenges, I mean, there are few, but one is high cost to get this, get into the financial system for a lot of people. And the second thing is about the proximity and geography, because reaching out to so many people in different locations is challenging. So that's why there are multiple actors who are involved in this, be it government, be it central banks, financial institutions, as well as technology players who are coming together to provide services. Just for example, World Bank has an initiative called Universal Financial Access by 2020, which aims to bring 1 billion people having access to transaction account. Fintech companies, for example, in Vietnam there is a company called Momo, which is providing mobile wallets and payments, and they have received 28 million in funding round recently. You might be knowing the popular apps like Alipay. In India there is Paytm, which is serving for 50 million and 122 million users in 2016. So it has been picking up. So with that, I just want to leave you with a quote of Dr. Amartya Sen, who is one of the who worked for poverty and social causes. And he said that poverty is not just the lack of money. It is not having the capability to realize one's full potential as a human being. With that, I end my speech. Thank you very much.